You won the deal. Well, congratulations. All of that preparation, persistence, hard work finally paid off. The problem? Well, there's still a lot of ways that this thing can go south after the deal is closed. In this episode of Sales Untraining, let's take a look at those challenges and figure out how you can avoid them. This is Sales Untraining, a very different kind of sales podcast. 3 out of 4 salespeople are failing. They're falling short of their revenue. Why doesn't sales training work? That's what this sales podcast is about. It's your weekly sales strategy guide designed to rewire your sales brain. Welcome to Sales Untraining. I'm Kelly Riggs, host of the podcast, and want to encourage you to be a regular part of the podcast. Like and subscribe. And if you can, share it with someone who needs to be a part of the conversation. Why the title, Sales Untraining? Well, because the way we train salespeople corporately is a disaster. And in fact, I do a whole series called Dumpster Fires, Sales Dumpster Fires. And make sure you check those out. Number 5 coming out very, very soon. But we explore the ways in which corporate America trains salespeople that almost ensures they get started the wrong way, and in many cases actually makes the problem worse. But in this episode today, we're talking about neglecting the most important part of the sale. Now, listen, this is subjective because every part of the sale is important. If you don't do the planning piece right, you don't get in front of the right people at the right time. You don't see decision makers. If you don't do discovery well, you don't get good information. You don't do good presentations, and so the whole link begins to fall apart. The train's off the tracks. Well, all that being said, if you get the deal and you blow it during delivery and implementation, the execution of your solution, your product or service, well, you might as well just light your next deal on fire because it's going to be tough to overcome that. So we look at the execution phase of the sales process, delivery, implementing your solution. And listen, this is a truism that the best marketing on the planet is to do great work. I mean, word of mouth is stronger than anything you can do on the internet, in advertising, on your website, your LinkedIn business page. It doesn't matter. When you do great work, word gets around. And that is the best marketing you could ever get. And in fact, I would go so far as to say that customer experience is more important than anything because, well, let me give you an example. You go to a restaurant, you have a good meal. I mean, you got referred to that restaurant. Oh, they make a fine steak, or the Mexican food's amazing, or, the Italian, whatever it is, your meal. You find out about a restaurant and you're told that, hey, this is a great place. They've got great food. And you show up and, it takes 20 minutes to get seated. Well, that's not unusual. They're busy. But then you get there and it's another 10 minutes before you see anybody. And they come swinging by and they've barely got time to take your drink order and they're gone. Maybe you have a couple of questions. Maybe you don't even have a menu yet. And they come back and they give you the drink order, but it's messed up. So they run back and take care of that. Then they tell you, hey, I'll be right with you. You need to take care of a couple of things. And it's another 5, 6, 8, 10 minutes. Finally, you order your food and part of one order comes out wrong and you can't get your tea glass refilled or get another cocktail, whatever the case may be. And you eat your food finally. Now you've been here an hour and 20 minutes and hey, you know what? Food's good. In fact, food's really good, actually, but then you can't get somebody to come back by and give you a check, and when they do, they're gone another 10 minutes. Yeah, have you reliving this? This is a common occurrence, unfortunately, as so many restaurants focus on food quality and decor and all of these kinds of things, but they don't train their wait staff to be effective. I've seen even high-end restaurants not do this well. Now, you eat in a high-end restaurant with really good food and really good service, and you look at the bill and go, wow, that's expensive, but man, what a great meal. That was worth it. Would you go back? Absolutely. But you go to a restaurant where the meal is good, even very good, and the service stinks. What do you say about the restaurant? What do you tell your friends? Hey, you've been over to the new place? Oh, yeah. What's wrong? Bad food? Oh, no, no. Food was good. Service, not so much. Because service, in a prospect's mind, is lumped into the quality of your solution. And providing an incredible customer experience, well, it kind of matters. And it is absolutely the best marketing that you can get, much less pay for. You're not even paying for it. They're paying you for the experience. And if you can do it great, well, you're going to get more opportunities, especially if it's a bigger customer and they have more departments, more divisions, more branches, more locations. And all the referrals, I mean, you're taking potential opportunities and just lighting them on fire. You're done. So it's incredibly important that as a salesperson, you don't go AWOL during the delivery process. Listen, I've dealt with lots of salespeople over the years. They're like, hey, I made the sale. It's up to the company now. I'm sorry, what? What universe does it make sense for you to put future opportunities at risk because you go AWOL? Instead, it'd be a really good idea to ensure that delivery and execution is a slam dunk. So, rule number 1 in delivery and execution, be present. All right, I mean, let's unpack it a little bit. Some of you are like, hey, man, I can't do that. They're delivering on the other side of the country or the world. I can't be there. Oh, you can be there. It's called Teams, Zoom, Google Meet. It's called telephone. You need to be there. You need to be communicating consistently about the delivery and when it's going to happen and who's going to be there, what it's going to look like. Getting them on a Zoom call, Teams call, whatever you use, to say, hey, let's talk about the solution. First phase coming in, people are going to be there. Here's what it's going to look like. Should be on your dock. Here's how it's going to get delivered. Listen, I can't create the scenario for every potential sales director that's watching this, but I think you get the idea. Being present is important. You know why? In many cases, you represent a change. If it's a brand new customer, hey, look, it's important no matter when and who you're delivering to and what number you are in terms of the number of sales you've made. But that first one, for a brand new customer, folks, that one's critical, right? You need the experience to be world class. You need to be getting emails that say, could not have imagined it would go this well. You guys made it easy. Hey, we had a hiccup or two. You were all over it. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. That's what you want. Because having been in business a minute, the likelihood that something goes awry is really high. That percentage, even if it's small, that percentage is pretty high. Things happen. Who's going to handle it? Some years ago, HR Challey Group did this big survey of like 80,000 buyers and asked them, what do you want out of your salespeople? One of the primary things they want you to own their problems. You've been the one that's convinced them to make a change. You've built up the trust and the credibility. My friend, as a salesperson, you are the company. Even if they've worked with engineering and, talked to the project manager and done, depending on what your service, your solution looks like, could be a lot of people. Salesperson, you ran point, you made this deal happen. You're the face of the company, not the CEO. No, it's you. And so if you've convinced them that we're the right solution, the right answer for you, and they said yes, then it's up to you to own the problems, no matter how big, no matter how small. And by the way, pro tip, never, write it down, please. Write this down. Never, ever blame someone in the company when there's a problem. Never. Right? Okay, let me go back to the restaurant example. You go in to eat, food comes out wrong. Maybe it's undercooked, it's overcooked, it's missing a side salad or a side dish or something. And you bring the wait staff over and you say, hey, this is a problem. And they go, yeah, those guys in the back, those cooks, sometimes I wonder if they're paying attention. Does that make you feel better? As a patron, as the person who came into the restaurant to eat, you suddenly, okay, now I understand. You have incompetent cooks. Why did I come here in the first place? No. Really good wait staff? Sir, I want to apologize for that. That's completely unacceptable here at Fill in the Blank Restaurant. I will take care of it right now. Stay tuned. Be right back. And they go back and handle it, and they come back, and your opinion and your trust of that particular wait staff person goes way up. Because problems happen. I want to know how you handle those problems. Look, Chick-fil-A has made a living with chicken sandwiches. I mean, unbelievable. Over $20 billion in sales. Only 3 restaurants in 2024 recorded more than $20 billion in revenue. Chick-fil-A is one of them. They have about 3,000 stores. The other 2, Starbucks, 16,000 plus, McDonald's, 12,000 plus. And by the way, as you know, Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays, and they're killing it with teenagers, primarily teenagers. I mean, their order accuracy is unbelievable. There's some fast food restaurants out there, I can tell you with 80% certainty, my order's going to be wrong. In all the times I've eaten at Chick-fil-A over the many, many years that I've done so, I think I've had 2 bad orders. One was very minor. The other one, they left out a sandwich. So I'm 20 minutes away, and I go driving back, and I got to get the other sandwich. I'm delivering to some people. We're doing some work together. And I go in, and I stop to talk to the guy who's directing traffic. He's like, yeah, this lane, they got like 9 lanes, 40 people out taking orders, right? I pull up to this guy, go, hey, here's my order. Here's my receipt. They left off a sandwich. Sir, park right there. I will be right back. In 3 minutes, he comes back with not 1, but 2 sandwiches, coupons for 4 or 5 more, and apologies from himself because we didn't handle this well. Didn't blame anybody, took care of it. Was that an inconvenience? Yes. Oddly enough, I left there going, that place is unbelievable. And yet they screwed up my order. How you deal with problems matters. And the person you want to have there dealing with those problems, I mean, you can have a team. You can have a project lead, a project manager, a service advisor. I don't care who it is, but you're the salesperson. Handle it. And their trust in you goes up dramatically, which strengthens your position as a company. First rule, number 1, write it down, be present. Number 2, it's always good prior to the process, prior to delivery, to sit down and talk about what it's going to look like. Instead of, hey, I got the order and listen, let me set up the ship date and all that. Sit down with the client, the customer, and talk about what is it going to look like. Let me tell you how we do delivery. In fact, pro tip number 2, if you can develop a process for delivery, even better yet, if you can brand it, if you can label it, put a trademark on it, even better. We have a specialized delivery process. We call it X. It has 5 steps. We do this, this, and this. Yeah, now you're selling a branded process for delivery. You deliver on that process. I mean, your customer, or rather your competitors, are not duplicating that. They're way too lazy to go through this process, create a branded delivery process. Want help doing that? Contact me. Happy to be involved. In fact, you can get on my calendar and get a 30-minute consultation for free with no selling involved. blkr.co/30. blkr.co/30. All right, so talk about that process. Talk about, if you don't have that, talk about how delivery works, what the steps are, what you do next. And number 3, very clearly set expectations with them about how it's going to work. Here's how we deliver. Here's how we make things happen. Here's what you can expect. If something happens, number 4, here's who you call. Number 1, it's me. Here's my my phone number, my pager number, my mobile number, my sat phone number, my bat phone number. Give them multiple ways to get a hold of you. Text is oftentimes today even better. Text me directly. Here's the number to text, and I'm going to call you back very quickly, and we will handle it. Okay? Please don't judge me by any mistakes that happen, because in my experience, this is complicated. We're going to have a couple of things here or there, little snafus. I will handle it for you. I'll take care of it. I want you to feel completely at ease and calm about this whole process. When you do those things, you communicate effectively. You communicate effectively during delivery, and then you do strong follow-up afterwards to make sure everything went well. Did everything happen as agreed? Is there anything I need to take care of? My friends, you're setting yourself up for your next deal. I mean, you will leverage that experience for more opportunities because, again, if this is the first time they've worked with you, now they feel completely at ease, and you have the opportunity while the iron is hot to ask questions about other opportunities, other divisions, other branches, other locations, or other people that particular buyer may know, people that they interact with at association or trade show meetings that they can introduce you to. Referrals are always easier when your customer is really happy. All right, coming up next, one essential and very critical step to leverage implementation and execution of your product or service. Stay with me. Thanks for joining me on Sales Untraining. It's not unusual for me to get a call or an email from someone saying, hey, I've got a question about a specific sales challenge that I'm experiencing. Do you ever take calls just to kick around some ideas? Well, typically the answer is, wow, I wish I had the time to do that, but I've decided to actually set that time aside now for a limited time to take some very specific calls just to talk about a specific sales challenge. What you can do is go to blkr.co/30. Go to that URL, you'll find my calendar, book a 30-minute call, and we'll talk about a specific sales challenge that you have in mind. You know, outside of the chain of command, you just need an outside perspective. Well, that's what I'm for, and we can have that conversation. Look, no selling, not interested in any of that. This is all about you. Let's talk about something that's going on in your world. The last time I did this was last fall, and I booked over 25 conversations with people, and they were fantastic conversations about very specific sales challenges. If you want to have a conversation, talk about a specific challenge to you, blkr.co/30. Now back to the show.
I regularly will have a manager tell me when I ask, why are you not confronting this underperformer with their result? I'm asking you to sit down and stick their nose in the results and then transition to the pipeline, because the pipeline's the lifeblood. And if we're sitting there with them and their results are poor, particularly over an extended period of time, and the pipeline's not healthy, which means the stuff they're working on doesn't look like it's going to produce business in the future. Someone who's failing and you're not willing to show them that they're failing and you're afraid they might leave. And I'm like, shouldn't you be coaching them up to an acceptable level and doubling up your accountability? Absolutely. But managers don't want to do the hard work. That you brought up culture first. What kills a high performance culture more than ignoring underperformance?
Welcome back, Sales Untraining. Yes, your weekly sales strategy guide designed to completely rewire your sales brain. And this part of the sales process we're trying to rewire, in many ways, the most critical step in the process is making sure that delivery and execution of your solution goes tremendously well. Customer experience is everything. Again, you can go have a great meal, but if the experience is bad, you're not going to say great things about the restaurant, whereas the same thing applies to your world. You can have a great solution, a great product, great quality, great service, and if you stink as a salesperson in the delivery phase, the execution phase, if you're not present, if you're not available, if you're not solving problems proactively, then it doesn't reflect well on the product, the solution, the service, no matter what happened. No matter how good it might be, it's going to color their perception of you and your company. The most common way that people do delivery, execution of the solution, is to execute and then sit back and wait and to see if there's any problems. And if there's problems, they're handling them all reactively. And many times, in my experience, it's defensively as well. Well, that wasn't our fault. Well, that's not what we talked about. Well, I mean, listen, I'm not going to go into great details because I can't talk about every situation that's out there, and somebody's going to come up with exceptions. I get that. But my objective is to create a great customer experience regardless of circumstances. You know, if they have a problem, we're on it. If something goes awry, we're going to handle it. You know, if something comes up and we didn't anticipate it, we're going to proactively deal with it and find ways to make that customer happy. Yes, I know there are some customers out there that after you do your delivery, your execution, you're like, yeah, the only execution well, never mind. You know, you regret the fact that you ever did business with them in the first place. You had no idea. I mean, they're awful. Not talking about those people. I'm talking about the lion's share of all the work you do with pretty normal people who paid a lot of money and expect you to do a great job. And expectations are high. That's why one of the pro tips early on is to align expectations. What do you want this to look like? If we do a bang up job and at the end you go, man, that's the best implementation I've ever had, what would we have done? Ask those questions proactively, right? Because the one critical, essential piece that I think matters is when you create accountability in the process of your proposal. In other words, we don't just create a solution, we have to be involved in the process of implementation and execution, not just doing it, but ensuring that it's done right, meeting with key people to ensure we've met their expectations. I'll give you an example. I do, as a part of the services I provide to clients, I do a lot of strategic planning, companies large and small. And when I first started doing it, the process went well the first couple of times, but you know what I found out? People struggled to execute the very plan they spent all the money and time on. And that doesn't reflect well on me, because to get referred to other people, I want them to do well with the execution of the strategic plan so that they go, man, this guy does a great job and it works. And we had phenomenal results. The impact of the strategic planning process and the execution of that plan, absolutely amazing. And we're continuing with Kelly, and we suggest you do the same. Well, to get that kind of marketing, I have to ensure that they have an accountability to the plan. Wasn't getting it. So I built it into my proposals. So today, when I do strategic planning, part of my proposal is I have to be involved in the execution. No, not the actual product or service that they implement, the execution of the strategic plan. That's my product, is the plan. So I help facilitate the development and establishment of that strategic plan. I want to make sure that they're executing the strategic plan. How do I do that? I build it into my proposal. My strategic planning proposal requires a minimum number of follow-ups where we talk together with the leadership team to ensure the working groups are created, the leaders doing the job they need to do. We're progressing against our timeline to execute that plan in detail, not broad strokes. I mean, we're in the weeds. We're doing the heavy lifting. And the first time I did that, it had a dramatic impact on the results to the company, because they were actually doing the plan, not just developing it. They did the plan. Well, how about you do the very same thing? You know, you can put a fee on it and then no charge it. You can put it on the invoice and no charge it. There's a lot of ways to approach how you implement that. but it included in the negotiation. Part of what we do as a part of our product or service is when we come in and do the delivery, the execution, we train your people. We insist that you allow us to be a part of the follow-up and the feedback so that everyone is trained effectively. We've met your expectations. Here's what that looks like. It can be your branded process. It can be a series of steps that you have to follow up, but you put it on a timeline and require it as a part of the contract. My friends, that's phenomenal added value. You say, hey, listen, this is something that we do above and beyond. We're not just going to implement or execute our solution. We're going to make sure that everyone's trained. We communicate and collaborate along the way. We answer all the questions. We do any advanced training that we need to, but we come back at 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, and 8 weeks to ensure that it's operating effectively. We double check all the parameters and the metrics and the this and the that to make sure everything is exactly as we told you it would be. And the salesperson is the one responsible for at least coordinating it, if not being an integral part of it. Well, I hope that helps. Please don't overlook this critical aspect of the sales process, ensuring that your customer's experience is absolutely world-class. I'll see you next time.
Sales on Training is a production of Business Locker Room and Pod About It Productions. Music and editing by Doug Branson. To get more Kelly, visit bizlockerroom.com.